I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who be caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your number one Chief Rocker, Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy, and welcome to the premiere Knicks in the Nighttime show, the Knicks at Night podcast. Salute to all my people watching, rocking the spot, whether you're watching this live or on replay. Salute. Cowboy Bob is in the building. What's good, man? I see you. Mega is in the building. Salute. Man, I have a ton of notes on this phone over here. So I have a ton of notes on this phone over here. I ain't even gonna lie to you, right? But as I was waiting for the intro to do its thing, I saw a lot of faces. Anthony D is in the place to be. Mr. Realistic is in the building. Mega was good. Man, I see y'all. Miguel P in the building. Y'all caught me right when I was just about to get sentimental. I ain't gonna lie to you. While the intro was playing, I saw a lot of former Knicks on that intro. I saw Taj Gibson, Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Frank Ntilikina. A lot of Knicks that are no longer, or a lot of NBA players no longer wearing the Knicks uniform. And honestly, I don't know how to feel about that. Right? The tough guy in me is gonna say, as long as we win a chip, I don't care. Right. But the human side of me is saying, man, a lot of guys have come and gone since we've been doing this show. A lot of NBA players have come and gone since we've been doing this show. Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, Dennis Smith Jr., Farron Hunt, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, Julius Randle, Isaiah Hartenstein. A lot of guys have come and gone in that time. So I think I'm thinking it's going to be 4 years at the end of October. Right? So it'll be 4 years for this channel at the end of October. And the Elfrid Paytons, Alec Burks, Austin Rivers, Norvell Pell. There's been a lot of turnover in order for us to get to the point where we are right now. And where we are right now as an organization is probably the best we've been. I'm going to say 25 years for sure, but possibly 50 years. The organization probably has not been this good in at least 25 years, possibly 50 years. So I'm going to ask you guys a whole bunch of questions in this time frame that we have. JJ is in the building. Top Notch T, what's good, man? I see you. Mike Austin is in the building. Latrell Sprewell, the American Dream, is in the building. Kev Guapo is in here. I see y'all. Salute to everybody watching. Salute to the chat. Thank y'all for being here. And if you're watching this for the first time, please consider helping us get to our goal of 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's our goal. That's something I'm asking of you guys. I generally don't ask anything. I generally try to give as much as I can, but I'm asking something from y'all, right? I'm asking y'all to help the channel get to 4,000 subscribers, right? We've been at 3 something for a long time, and it's about time for us to start asking for something in exchange. So hit the like button, help support the channel, subscribe to the channel. We're just going to try to put out more consistent and dope content. You know, we'll try to do our very best to do that. But back on my tip of being sentimental, a lot of players have come and gone. A lot of players have come and gone. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that the organization is a turnover machine? Nah. Jet Life for Life is in the building. That's not what that means. It means generally when you try to build something, you may have to demo something else, right? When you want to increase the value of something, sometimes there's some demolition you have to do in order to build over a good foundation, right? So before I could even catch my breath about the whirlwind Karl-Anthony Towns trade, the rumor mill is also swirling about a player that a lot of you guys like, Trey Murphy III. I don't know how the Knicks organization can pull this off. But if the Knicks somehow finish the Karl-Anthony Towns trade and still go after Trey Murphy III, you know that the organization is all in for a championship this season. I saw Trey Murphy III's name 2 or 3 times today. Right? One is SI. One was another Knicks content creator. I don't know how much I can trust that. So I put the thing out there on Twitter. Nobody responded. I guess I'm a nobody. Nobody responded to the Trey Murphy III thing, but yeah. If the adage of where there's smoke, there's fire applies to the Trey Murphy III thing, we may be in a ride of a lifetime, right? So I can't get a respectable or reliable source to verify the Trey Murphy III thing. So I think it's just whispers in the wind. And I'm not trying to break news because that's not my job. I don't do that. I'm not a reporter. But the Trey Murphy III thing piqued my interest. With that said, I'm going to table that and talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. You know what? Before I talk about Karl-Anthony Towns, there's some OGs in the building. I'm gonna throw the link in the chat so that we can rock for a little bit. Before I do the Karl-Anthony Towns thing, I think I need to have people have their say. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat. I'm not gonna answer like questions and all that stuff. If you have an opinion or something like that, you're gonna come up and rock for a little bit, then we'll do that. But as long as we not whack. Miguel P is in the building. He says, I think Leon's PR team is looking at how angry the fans are right now. So they are putting out those whispers. Okay. That may be it. That may be it. I tell you what, though. The Karl-Anthony Towns trade, I guess I will talk about it for a little bit. Once it's completed, we'll know how many players it took to move. Right now, it's looking like 5 players for Cat. It's like Dante, Julius, a draft pick, Keita Bates-Diop, and Daquan Jeffries. That's what it looks like right now. So it looks like 5 players right now. Live in Truth is in the building. Salute. Sherwin says Towns averaged 50 games for the past 5 years. Randall is the second best creator. He's the best post-up player. Man-on-man defense. He demands a double team. He is anything but soft. Okay. Sherwin says he hopes this trade is never completed. That's interesting. That is interesting. Spree, what's good, man?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited that you're on right now. What's good?
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. I just have a lot to think about, bro.
Have you processed it all? Or are you still just like thinking it over?
Nah, one thing at a time, man. I'm kind of in that mourning state and kind of in that celebration state at the same time.
Yeah.
And so they neutralize each other. So I'm honestly in a state of just thinking about where do we go from here?
I hear you. It's a lot to process. It was an interesting when it came down like on a Friday night. You know, I feel you. It's definitely gonna take a couple days. You know,
Right.
Hasn't really hit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'm in that. Guess I'm in that mindset of Randall's gone. Cat is here. What does this mean for Mitchell Robinson? I think Mitchell is in my mind. Mitch is so gone, bro. I think Mitchell Robinson is so gone. It's ridiculous.
But I guess my question, or I guess the thing is whether or not you want to trade Mitch or you don't. Do you think we can still trade him with him being hurt right now? That's the thing. Can we get the full value for him?
Yeah, Mitch. Yeah, you can get the value for him, right? The thing is with the remember we traded Porzingis on a torn ACL. Remember that?
Yeah,
so he was recovering from a torn ACL, and I don't even know if he played his first year in Dallas. I can't even remember if he did or didn't. I don't think he played that first year in Dallas. So,
I mean,
but
I heard you mention the Trey Murphy. I heard something similar. I think somebody, I don't know if it was a legitimate source, but something about Mitch going home to New Orleans and they really like him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to believe, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think so. The thing is, you don't trade Julius Randle, an all-star power forward plus pieces, for Karl-Anthony Towns. That's a good power forward, but not a great power forward, right? You trade Julius Randle, an all-star power forward plus pieces, for Karl-Anthony Towns, an all-star center, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bring him here to play center. You don't bring Cat here to play power forward because it's not an upgrade.
I agree.
Basically, because Karl-Anthony Towns hadn't proven anything to anyone that he's a winner at power forward, right? At center, he stretches the floor and does some things that the Knicks were looking at. I think the taste of Hartenstein, right? They got a small taste of Hartenstein, like what Isaiah Hartenstein can do in an offense, and they feel like they can supersize that with Karl-Anthony Towns.
I totally
a better
agree.
rebounder, a better shooter, a better passer, all those things, right? That he does all those things at a better rate than Isaiah Hartenstein does.
Yeah, they wanted some. It's like Isaiah Hartenstein when you get a lemon with your iced tea and you squeeze the lemon. They wanted a full orange juice. Now with Towns, he opens up doors that we haven't had.
Right. Yeah. My thing though is with centers at this age that are teetering on the big 3-0, how many miles can you get out of a center that's teetering on that in that age range?
I mean, that's fair. I mean, listen, I don't know how old Porzingis is. He's got to be close to 32. He may be close, but yeah, it's always the question with big guys, and like Towns has been hurt too. It's not just Randall. Towns has had his own surgery. I mean, he's had multiple surgeries, I believe. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a gamble with these big guys. They get hurt. The hope is that they don't get hurt come playoff time, so
Right.
and also the hope is that Brunson being so good will make his life easier to not have to take that fall or something like. I don't know. It's tough.
Right.
But yeah.
And so y'all know I love Julius Randle, right? I loved Randle as a Knick, right? But I think Karl-Anthony Towns brings a diversity to an NBA offense that Julius Randle couldn't bring. And it's no disrespect to Julius because he was an all-star, right? Julius Randle, if 2 more all-stars, 2 more all-NBAs, and Julius Randle will be in the Hall of Fame conversation, right? And that sounds crazy, right? But if Julius Randle has 2 more seasons like he had last year or the year before last, Julius Randle is in the Chris Webber conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
Julius Randle is in that Chris Bosh conversation.
He's been an all-star 3 of the last 4 years?
Yeah.
All NBA. I mean, look, I know we've supported Julius, but we wish him well. He's a very good player. I think Towns, the way we want to play, the way Brunson, because Brunson has the ball in his hands. Towns doesn't need the ball. Yes, you can get Towns the ball, but he doesn't really need the ball. I think the spacing is just like you hit it. They brought Towns here to play the 5, bro, to space the floor as a big 5, to match up with guys like Porzingis, and I think it made sense for where we are, to be honest with you. So I can't really hate on it. But I wish Randall well. I think Randall's in a good. I think the Timberwolves are going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah. You generally don't see 2 teams this good make a trade. That's just part of the NBA landscape. How often do you see 2 top 8 teams in the NBA make a trade.
Not
You
very often.
don't really see that.
No.
You don't see that often. You don't see Dr. J get traded to the Lakers. You don't see stuff like that, right? You don't see, generally it's a team that has hit a brick wall and they're looking to go in a different direction, maybe shed salary, looking to rebuild, and they trade a guy to a team that desperately needs. So the fact that Minnesota, was even interested in doing a Randall deal. Now on the surface, I know the Randall haters and the pseudo basketball lovers are going to say the only reason why they acquired Randall was to get rid of Karl-Anthony Towns' salary. And I'll rebuff that by saying it's so difficult in the NBA to get talent, to acquire talent, that you don't give talent away in the NBA. Now, you may disagree with me, and I'm speaking in general, not you, but you may disagree with that sentiment. But I'll remind you how destitute this roster was before Julius Randle got here, and how desperately we tried to draft talent: Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, Damian Dotson. We brought in Alonzo Trier. We brought in Isaiah Hicks. We brought in Luke Cornett. We brought in Terrence Williams, right? We brought in a bunch of guys, and none of those guys panned out, right? Just to say that a team is going to dump talent because a team feels like they don't have a need for that talent, to me, is one of those things where I think is naive. Teams don't just give away talent, right? They
Right.
just don't. Salute to Still Knicks fans is in the building.
Salute, Ron.
Daniel Berry Sports Highlights is in the building. What's good? IKBM Dre is in the building. Live in Truth. I think Live in Truth did a Live in Truth. Thank you for the generous contribution. Live in Truth says Leon's missing the point. Faithful Knicks fans have been robbed of the team they wanted and deserve to see make a run at a title, especially Randall. I could see that, man. I can see that. I can see that. And you know who else? The Nova Boys thing was a thing, and now even Dante's gone.
Yeah, I didn't buy, and I heard a report that they like refuted it, but I don't know if you saw when the trade came out, there was this talk that Dante was frustrated with his role and he wasn't happy with, taking a lesser role. And look, nobody likes losing minutes in the NBA. I'm not going to I don't know Dante. I don't know what's true and what's not. He may not have been happy coming off the bench. I don't know. I mean, when these guys are at this level, of course there's egos involved. But do I think Dante wanted to be traded from this team prior to this trade? Absolutely not. I don't think he wanted. I think he wanted to stay in New York. I wasn't buying that report that Dante wanted out or anything like that. Right. I mean, to me, guys are competitive. Maybe he didn't want to come off the bench, but of course he wanted to play with the 3 other Villanova guys.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Dre, what's good, bro?
Salute. Salute. Latrell Sprewell is the American hero. Salute Uncle Freezy. Salute to the chat. I also agree with your
how
point.
Did the Jets do the other night, bro?
What Jets?
Oh yeah,
Winnipeg Jets. They start
what,
preseason, man. I don't know what you're talking about. They just started preseason in NHL. Those are the Jets you're talking about, right? I don't know any other Jets that you speak of.
Right.
But I agree with your point, Latrell. Like with Dante, and also like Stephon Bondi also refuted that report.
Yeah,
saying
I was happy he did.
So,
hi guys.
All right. Hey, what's up, boss?
What's up, Mitch?
Not much. Happy that the Mets are in the playoffs.
Yeah, happy the Mets are in the playoffs.
But I wish they would have swept the doubleheader to keep Atlanta out. But no, they decided to get lazy in the second game.
Right.
I mean, I get it. Don't want to burn your best pitching players 2 games in a row on the same day, but still. Would have been nice to keep the Braves from getting their 7th straight playoffs appearance. even if it's a wild card appearance this time.
Yeah.
But what do you think about Karl Towns?
Karl-Anthony Towns. I think that's the topic du jour. I tell you what I think first, right? Let me. I'm gonna jump in on the Karl-Anthony Towns thing. I think when you have the opportunity to trade for a young, productive, former number one pick that's probably in his prime years.
I'm sure if I really call 28 years old, old prime years.
Well, this is my opinion. This is my opinion.
That is Freezy. That's damn near.
Let me. Hey, can I finish my point? Let me finish my point.
Go ahead, Freezy. My fault.
So the thing is, though, when you look to acquire a talent like that, a guy that went number one overall because he was super talented and had tremendous upside, I think you have to make that deal. Now, it's not the Price is Right where you have multiple options where you can, pay. When that team tells you what they're asking for, when they tell you what they are asking for, if you want said player, then you have to pay that price. And sometimes that puts you in a situation where you have to depart with some of the things that you truly treasure, like Randall, like Dante, like that first round pick. I think the Knicks probably want to, in theory, keep all of that, but you can't because you have to match the salary and you have to give talent commensurate to what is exiting Minnesota.
Take the Donovan Mitchell trade that we couldn't do. What happened? We weren't willing to move on it, include Quentin Grimes. Allegedly, we don't know the whole facts, but now we did. We had, so like you said, Freezy, sometimes you have to to get a deal done. You can't blink when at the asking price. You got to be willing to put the Dante in there to get it done. That's just. I don't think we want. The report was initially we wanted to include Mitch in the deal. They didn't want Mitch. It is what it is.
Right. To the point though that I was making just really quick. Yeah. The point that I was making is, I think the Knicks value something more than Karl-Anthony Towns, and I think they value something more than Mikal Bridges. Right. I think the thing that they value more than the players that we value is a shot at the championship. And if it calls for parting with somebody you love, Dante, we all know the Knicks love Dante DiVincenzo, bro. He played here 1 year, and it's like he should retire as a Knick. And he only played here one season. Probably had his most productive year. And he played for a championship team. Dante DiVincenzo started 60-plus games for the NBA champ Milwaukee Bucks before he tore his ACL. Hey, somebody got something cracking.
Oh, sorry.
So no doubt the Knicks wanted to keep Dante. They probably wanted Randall to retire a Knick too. But the thing that they value more than Dante, more than Julius Randle, more than Karl-Anthony Towns, more than the 6 or so draft picks that they gave up on Mikal Bridges, the Mikal Bridges himself, the money, the thing they value more than remember, they let Isaiah Hartenstein walk, right? I guess they didn't have a choice, but Isaiah Hartenstein was a fan favorite. The thing they valued more than all of that was a shot at a championship. And I think they are truly committed to going all in for a shot at an NBA title sooner than later. Let me just say this real quick. Salute to the son of the legend, Kerry Cox is in the building. Eddie C is in the building. Salute, man. What's going on?
Hope he isn't.
Good evening, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Salute.
Man, I'm back on the platform because I'm ecstatic about what they did, man. Like, I really am happy. I think this is like the final piece to the championship run that we have a 4-year window for. We're getting back to some modern basketball now. This is the way basketball is played now. This is the way we should be playing. with the defensive principles that Tom Thibodeau is going to implement. The offensive side is going to handle itself. What I'm really mad at is the talk of Karl-Anthony Towns at the 4. I've been listening to, on YouTube, some people saying, no, that he doesn't want to play the 5, that he wants to play the 4. I mean, he's versatile to play the 4, but he knows that he's going to come here to play the 5. This is the way we're going to win a championship. We're not going to win a championship with Karl-Anthony Towns at the 4, because if that was the case, Minnesota would probably keep doing what they were doing and not, go another route. So, I'm just ecstatic for this season, and I hope that we're healthy. As long as we're healthy, we're gonna make a run at the championship. And in my 43 years of living, I haven't seen a New York Knicks championship, and I'm just hoping that, within the next 4 years, I'll get to see one.
Who's the center at Minnesota? Anthony Edwards.
The center?
Rudy Gobert.
Oh, Rudy, right.
I mean, I think it's Eddie C. When you talk about him playing at the 4, and I don't buy the thing that he doesn't want to play at 5. His most successful season statistically was with him playing the 5. Ironically, underneath Tom Thibodeau.
Right.
His highest points per games were under Tom Thibodeau. So
the ceiling for this team is higher with him playing at the 5.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, and I think he's going to start at the 5. I think, but sometimes it might be matchup based. There might be certain scenarios.
Is this offensive statistics or is this defense? Because I think he's adequate defensively. I don't think he's as bad as people say he is. But are you talking about his best year offensively or his best year defensively?
Well, if we're talking about blocks per game, he had his highest blocks per game underneath Tibbs at the 5.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
1.7 blocks per game underneath Tibbs at the 5.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's as bad as people point him out to be defensively. When I used to see this kid at Kentucky, I know he was playing with Wally Cauley-Stein. And I remember what's his name, Calipari. Calipari didn't let him shoot. Calipari didn't let him go out of the box. He was
he did with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Davis. It was the same thing he told him.
Right. And I don't even think that you can compare Anthony Davis offensively to Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns is head and above shoulders. Defensively is a different story.
Right.
But when we're talking offensively, Karl-Anthony Towns has a great 3-point shooting percentage. His foul line percentage is out of this world. Like, this kid doesn't miss at the foul line. So going back to my point, like when I saw him in college and I saw what he can do at the post as a center, and then he went into the NBA and he started doing all these offensive things, all these 3-point shots, and won the 3-point contest, and augmented his game to where the college guy didn't want to let him do it.
Right.
I'm ecstatic because I know that he has the tools to do everything that we need. We didn't have the post presence. Julius Randle was one of our best, I guess, post guys, but he was like a key, like a top of the key type post player. Like you can literally just, give the ball to Cat at the post and he can back you down and do his little hook shots and stuff. So, man, this is crazy.
He has a myriad of moves.
Yeah, this is crazy, bro. I can't believe that the Knicks made this trade. I can't believe that the Knicks are in this position with all these players, the way that they set up this team, this first unit, even having Deuce as the 6th man, Precious back there, and I could just imagine what they'll be getting from Mitchell Robinson, because at the 5, I think even if we're just Pat, Jericho, and Hawk Porty and Precious, I think we're more than fine.
I mean, the way Leon Rose built the team. I mean, look, everything in life is a gamble. Even if Randall and Dante was here, injuries are part of the game. When they gave OG $200 million, I still think it was the right decision. Yes, it's a gamble with OG's health. Cat's had injury issues too, just like Randall. But they have built a team that can match up with the Boston Celtics. And at the end of the day, if we're going to win a championship, we're most likely, I hope the Celtics lose first round. But the bottom line is we're probably going to have to beat them to win the championship. And we have built a team that I think can compete against the Boston Celtics now.
We've definitely taken some cues from what the Celtics have done, because I think we've went away from the idea of having 9 guys that are NBA starter quality, and we've probably pushed into the territory of having, okay, we need 4 guys that are extremely high impact, no matter the context, and then you surround them with 2 or 3 complementary players, and then you might have the back end of your rotation with guys that have maybe a signature trait or a skill set that you can use and hide their flaws. Like, for instance, Jericho Sims is very good at switching 1-on-1, but he has no offensive game whatsoever. Like, if you take cues and look at like what the Celtics are doing, the Celtics have about 4 bona fide high impact players, 2 to 3 very complementary players in terms of role players, and then they fill out their bench with guys that have 1 or 2 traits or skills, but they may be flawed, like Xavier Tillman, for example, or Sam
Like
Hauser.
O'Shea Brissett.
Yeah, or Sam Hauser, where he
Yes.
can really shoot, but he's not really good for much else.
Yeah, he can't dribble.
He's a specialist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the guys that are super complimentary. I say this with respect. They're complimentary, but they're to the nth percent of being complimentary. Drew Holiday isn't what he was in the past, but his skill set is extremely complementary to
Mhm.
what Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and what Chris Stapps do. I think those are the key cogs.
Luke Cornett, super
Yeah,
complimentary.
But like Dre,
yeah.
like look at what you just mentioned. Like I respect the heck out of Drew Holiday. Great player. Yes, he's up there in age. He's still a winner. I'm taking Jalen Brunson over Drew Holiday. I'm taking Karl-Anthony Towns over KP. I think that Derek White, Mikal Bridges is I think that's actually even. I know I'll get hate from that from Knicks fans. I like Derek White a lot. I think it's actually they're very similar. Tatum, you're taking over. Sorry, Jaylen Brown, you're taking over Josh Hart, and Tatum, you're taking over OG. So I've named 2 guys that with the Celtics you probably would take over our 2 guys, but we can match up with them. Our 2 guys, Brunson and Towns, I'm taking over their 2 guys that I just named, and I think there's an even play with Derek White and Bridges. I think just looking at the starting lineups of both of these teams, you cannot tell me that those 2 starting lineups are not very even. If assuming we fit correctly and are healthy.
I believe we're on equal footing. If we would have had to figure out a way to keep Dante, and then we probably would be completely over the top in terms of depth and complementary players. But at this current juncture, you have to get a guy in the building like Cat that changes the dynamic of your team that drastically. Because while Dante was a great shooter at the center position is way more impactful than a great shooter at the guard.
That's a great point.
There are a ton of guards that shoot well from 3. There aren't too many that like the idea of like the unicorn center that we thought was going to come and take over the league. There's only about 5 or 6 or 7 like really really good 3-point shooters that are 7 feet tall.
Like,
Right.
And we have one
And
of them.
basically, and we have the
Go ahead.
best one.
No,
Yeah, and we
I
have
agree.
the best one.
Statistically, we have the best 3-point shooter. So,
He's better than KP,
like
in my opinion.
this point that I'm going to make, I hope people don't take it the wrong way, right? And I don't know if you guys had talked about Julius before I got here, but as a person, I think amazing. Everything that he's shown, his YouTube channel that he opened is beautiful. I've seen the 2 episodes. As a person,
Same.
he's a great person, and he did a lot of great things for the New York Knicks organization. As a
And the
person, as a
city.
basketball player, he had a lot of accolades. At the end of the day, though, once we trade the type of player that Julius, I'm talking about basketball now, right? The type of player that Julius is, and we trade him for somebody like a Cat that just opens up everything, because we don't necessarily have to trade Mitchell Robinson. Now, when Mitchell Robinson comes in, he's still going to be playing with an OG Anunoby at his side, with the Mikal Bridges at his side. The concept is not going to change. I actually, I prefer to keep him, but if you're telling me that we're going to trade him to New Orleans for Trey, or we're going to trade him to New Orleans even for Herbert Jones, if something along those lines, I'm okay with that too. But if we don't, I mean, these players that we have now are just all in alignment. There's nothing clunky about anything that we're doing right now. You can even play cat with Precious. There's nothing clunky about it. It's just beautiful basketball that's going to be played. And I've been wanting this for years.
I was
It's just taking this long to get there.
I was gonna say, Nick, the reason, like the thing that I was describing, you just said it. Like you can even play Precious with Cat, and I just gave you an example of a guy that has a particular skill set that can be used, and the high impact player can mitigate whatever Precious's flaws are, and Cat is that high impact player. And as far as like trading Mitch for Trey or Herb Jones, I'm not sure where that started. That is, they wouldn't do that. I'm putting that out
Yeah,
there
it's
flatly.
in an article according to SI.com where somebody spoke to the New Orleans Pelicans.
And it was from a guy on Twitter that has like 1,000 followers,
Yeah, no, I'm talking
an
about the
alleged
SI.
writer. I don't I
I'm
don't
talking
I
about the
don't buy
SI.com
too.
part. I don't care
I
about
think
that.
it's in both
Yeah,
places.
I
There's an
understand that, but
SI.
that's the writer.
Yeah.
That's the writer. But I'm not. If I had to guess, what this is just my basketball brain. I, Herb Jones and Trey Murphy's value on the open market far supersedes whatever Mitch is. So you're especially an injured Mitch. So whatever you giving up to go get him, we don't even have in terms of draft capital. Because
But
you have to give up draft capital to even talk about Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. Because number one, Herb Jones is on an extremely nice contract for
So
his skill set
what do you
as a
think we?
3-and-D wing that shoots
Yeah.
40% from three.
Do you think?
And Trey Murphy is a completely different, like he's in a completely different stratosphere in terms of his ceiling and potential. And
He
they're gonna
definitely was
lock
gonna.
him down.
He's in that Brandon Miller category right now.
Yeah.
Like they're literally about to get rid of um what's his name?
No, there's
Brandon.
no market. There's no market for him.
Nothing's been shot.
Yeah, there's no
They
market
haven't
for him,
been
but
able to trade him.
Yeah,
yeah, but whenever they figure out a way or they let him expire off the books, the next thing you're gonna see is extension for Trey Murphy. That's the next thing you're gonna see. $100-something million, Trey Murphy. $150 million over the next 5 years, Trey Murphy. That's what you're gonna see.
the only pushback that I'm going to give to you there, Dre, is I never thought if I was Minnesota, right? I know all of the financials about
Yep.
the cat situation. I wouldn't have thought that Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo would get me cat. That's why I'm so ecstatic.
right.
That's why it's like, you know, I feel like, it's basically a robbery. Like,
I
I
mean, I
cannot
think that
believe.
I think the T Wolves value Dante. Like realistically, I actually think the T Wolves value Dante at 2 first-round picks. I really do.
Okay, but still, that
I
even
No,
think
I agree
Dante,
with
like,
you.
Dante's most
If you would have
valuable
told me that,
asset.
not
if you would have
to
told me
me.
that we would have gotten him for just Randall, Dante, and a first-round pick, I mean, to me, that's a little bit low for Towns.
That's what I'm saying.
But you
That's
got
what
to
I'm
take
saying.
into account, like in this economy, in terms of the league, teams are terrified of guys that are making max money that aren't like overwhelmingly top 10 guys. That
Hence,
that's 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 literally what the crux of it is.
okay, so hence comes in
That's
the New
that's what the
Orleans
crux of it is. And we've been
Drake.
so clean with our books that we can afford to take that contract on and it won't like kill us. That's
Okay,
the reason why we even went after it, and it's a perfect fit.
why I
Right.
think it does have legs, this New Orleans situation, is because of that what you're exactly saying. The Brandon Ingram situation, the Zion Williams situation,
Right.
the incoming Trey Murphy the third situation. I think these guys know that they need to go for a championship now. You know who their center is? I think it's Daniel Tice.
Daniel
I,
Tice.
I think it's Daniel Tice. They have the Jameson kid that played for Memphis, and the rookie Yves Messi.
Yves Missy, yeah, I love him,
Yeah,
bro.
you're right.
I'll say
That's
this.
that's that's so what you're doing is, and I'm not saying that if I was New Orleans I would do it either. Like this is not what I'm saying, but just seeing how these organizations are so afraid of the cap situation, like you were just saying, like they're just um taking from surpluses and just trying to get better somewhere else because they have a surplus of forwards. They've been trying to trade Brandon Ingram already for 2 years.
But he's gonna expire, so you don't even have to do anything. You could just
So
let
you're
him
gonna
expire.
let Brandon Ingram. So you're gonna let Brandon Ingram, a la LA Clippers.
Well,
You see how much of a black eye the Clippers have right now because of the Paul George situation.
they didn't want to go into the apron anymore. Over like they thought their championship window was closed. So why would I even just continue
So
to
it
spend
never,
money?
yeah, it's done. So they're done.
Yeah,
I don't think New Orleans wants to be done because they do have McCullum. They just brought in Murray. They have
I
Zion
think they
there.
want to get off of McCullum. If you want to, if I'm
What
being
about the
absolutely real,
Wizards? I heard the Wizards also like
No,
early.
no, that's an opinion. That's an opinion. I don't know if they would want to get off McCullum. I think
What
McCullum.
about the Wizards, Eddie C? Did you hear about the
say it
Wizards
again,
too with
Glenn.
Mitch?
I heard something
Uh,
about. I heard something about these so-called teams that don't care when Mitch comes back because they're so down in the gutter that they don't really, they're trying to see what they can
you
get or
gotta cut.
whatever.
You gotta give them something else besides Mitch for them to take on Mitch because Mitch is not gonna play in the short term for
Feel
teams
you.
like that. In my mind,
I feel you. As a let me see
a sweetener,
the right
a
way to
sweetener.
let me see the right way to put it. As I don't think there's a right way to put it. As a 2K trade person, I understand where you're coming from, Dre. But for some reason, we're not all the way in the books of these other teams and understanding what they want to do, or even knowing if they have other trades down the road that they're looking at. So even though this trade on the surface doesn't look like it's feasible to us, it's feasible to them because they already know they have something else brewing, and it's a cluster of things.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Knicks are going to sweeten up anything.
Oh, for Mitch, no, it wouldn't benefit us. It
Exactly.
wouldn't benefit us
So
to do that anyway.
at the end of the day, I'm not mad if they don't trade him. I wouldn't be mad if they trade him for one of those two guys. Most likely, it's going to be a Herb Jones than a Trey Murphy. I don't mind that at all. I think Herb Jones here is perfect. He
What
can
about
back up McCall. He can back up OG.
what about Jordan Poole with the
Herb
Wizards?
Jones is a starting
So much
caliber
money.
player.
So much
Yeah,
money.
Herb Jones
Jordan
is a
Poole's
starter.
Jordan
And Joe,
Poole's
Herb Jones is not a backup anywhere.
Herb Jones is a starter, bro.
how
A
much is
high level
Jordan Poole
starter at
making?
that too, bro.
So is
Like
Trey Murphy.
in reality,
Yeah, I
we
know.
probably start him over Josh Hart. In reality,
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Let me
Jordan Poole's
so
making a
I
lot of
just want to
money.
point out one thing, just one thing real quick. I want to point out
Mhm.
every time a Knicks fan says that the Knicks can't trade with a certain organization because of such and such and such, the Knicks trade with that organization with all those stumbling blocks in the way.
That's fair.
Right now, the thing with New Orleans, I don't know if it's likely just because of the career arc that Trey Murphy is on. Trey Murphy in 2 years legitimately could be their best player. Right now, do they trade that potential for an often injured big man just because they want to see CJ McCollum in the playoffs? Probably not. Right.
Probably
But if
not.
you're talking about in terms of making things happen, I was told that the Brooklyn Nets would never trade with the Knicks.
I was
And I
told
was,
that too
and I
by
was
many
told,
people.
yeah, and I was told that the Raptors would not trade with the Knicks because the Knicks are suing them. They're in
Yep.
federal court right now. And
We
and
heard
those
that a
things,
lot.
but those
yeah,
things are outside of basketball reasons. The things that are being talked about for New Orleans is for basketball sense. They have no like vendetta or beef with the Knicks. I'm
right.
talking squarely on what what you think would work basketball wise in terms of building your team.
Right.
The Raptors and the Nets did what was best for their organization and let those past beefs or bygones go by because what was best for their organization because it made basketball sense for them to make those transactions.
Right.
But the trade
But those
Mitch,
two trades I mentioned did happen though, right?
yeah, absolutely they
And
happened.
they
But
and
to
they
trade
traded
Mitch
basketball. They
for
traded basketball players, right?
they traded basketball players and
Right.
assets, and it
Right.
made sense for the
It
organization
made
to
it
take
made
the
sense for
assets.
both sides. Yep.
And
I
what I'm saying is it doesn't make sense for them to do that for Trey Murphy.
And
That's it doesn't make basketball sense in my head, at
and
least.
and just I think if there's anything that's the epitome of the word clickbait, I think the Mitchell Robinson New Orleans is the epitome of clickbait.
I think Mitch is gonna actually be on the team. And then if we do decide to move on from him, it might be at the deadline. If I
Wait,
had to
Eddie C,
guess.
you think that's more clickbait than the Dante is unhappy with his role on the Knicks and that's why they traded him? Or do you?
I would put the Dante crap ahead of that. I
Okay.
think that's bull crap. I mean,
Yeah, that's nonsense.
yeah, that's just I don't know where that comes from. But
The reports are
when it comes to trades of obviously whoever thought of this said, "Oh, they have Cat, so they have no need for Mitchell Robinson," which is bogus. I think we do have a need for Mitchell Robinson, and the Cat just opens up the door for him to take more time to get ready for when we really need him in the playoffs.
So Eddie,
So
I disagree with you, but listen,
mhm.
I don't want to rock the boat right there. I want to just explain to you why so that we can continue down that path. It just the reason why I think Mitch is gone is because NBA teams don't put $75 million in a center position. And now
Oh
that
man,
you have Cat and Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achua and whoever Precious' backup is, you're looking somewhere between 70 and 75, I think. So 75 might have been a little bit high, but somewhere around that number in the center position.
65.
Yeah, or
65.
something. Yeah. Because
and we've talked about that. We've talked about that.
Because Mitch is 13, right? And Precious is making 6. So that's 19
Yeah.
plus whatever.
Sims is at like $3 million
$3
right
million.
now.
I forgot about
Huckporty's at
them.
like
$3 million, yeah.
Huckporty's at like $1.5 million.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So we're talking about like $70+ million. So we're talking about 40% of the salary cap going to the center position.
Karl Towns
And
is a Nick because of that logic, Freezy.
huh?
Karl Towns is a Nick because of that logic that you're laying right there.
No, but what I'm saying, what the point that I'm getting at is if you're putting the majority of the money into Cat, right? Then the other $25 million, think about $25 million, we want to put that into backup centers.
The Jalen Brunson contract did help that out a little bit. The Jalen Brunson extension and having Mikal Bridges at a low number, everything else that we did is able to help have us be at that point at this time where we have that situation happening. But I get where you're coming from. Like we've never wanted this. Me and you have always talked about this. Like we never want to put that much more. But look, we have a $50 million center now.
Yep. And a $13
So
million center, and a $6 million center, and a $3 million center, and $1.5 million center.
right, yeah. It's allocating the riches. We're trying to allocate the riches. That's why New Orleans does come up.
Right.
Um,
For that reason, I think Mitch won't be here. Not because he's a bad player, right? Not because he's a bad player, but what happens if Jalen Brunson turns an ankle, right? And then when you look over at the bench and your point guards are Tyler Kolek, Deuce McBride, and Cameron Payne, and you have no other resources to go out and upgrade to maybe even you can't even upgrade to a Spencer Dinwiddie because you have $25 million tied up in centers that are not going to play because Cat is your 34-minute a night center.
so you're thinking that he's going to be traded before the start of the season, or he's going to be traded at the deadline?
I think he's gone, period.
You talking
I don't
about
know.
Mitch?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's gone, bro.
I think
but
Mitch is gone.
he's going to be gone sooner than later.
I think so. I think it's possible.
I think he's gone, bro. I think they wanted to put him in that Minnesota trade so bad. I think
Yeah,
they wanted.
Minnesota just
I
didn't
think
want
they
that.
wanted.
They offered Mitch to Minnesota. That was like Shams
Yeah,
was on the.
they offered, and then what I was seeing, like what I was seeing was the gist of it was because Minnesota didn't want Mitch, they were looking for like a third team that they could dump him off on
Yeah.
to make the
That
money work as well, and like nobody was going, nobody was
that's what I
interested.
was about to say. I wouldn't be surprised that Mitch um would go somewhere else within the structure of this trade.
Yeah,
He
that's why
could.
I was. That's why like when they tried to add Mitch to the deal and nobody was trying to bite on it to be the third partner. That's when I'm like, okay, Mitch's like value is in a weird place where it really honestly it shouldn't get you a Herb Jones. It really shouldn't, in my mind. His value right now is such a weird place in limbo because number one, he expires the following year. He doesn't make a ton of money, but he's never available. Like,
Right.
do you
Yeah,
want
and New
to
Orleans
invest? Do
can
you want
also
to
do.
invest in a guy that had the same surgery on the same ankle twice in less than a calendar year?
And I think
And
he's
you
about to become extension eligible too. I think.
Yeah, he's extension eligible at the end of the year.
at the trade deadline, I think if New Orleans is where they want to be, they can still get feasible. They get the Valanciunas of the world and all this other stuff. I think
And it would cost you less.
right.
But
I
yeah,
wouldn't remember the Nick Richards guy
yeah,
in
Nick
Charlotte.
Richards, yeah.
Remember
Like
the Nick
to
Richards
get like
guy in Charlotte.
to get a quality NBA center for them, because you remember, like when I say Trey Murphy, they view him as a cornerstone already. Like he hasn't taken off yet, but this time next year, you're gonna be looking at his salary being 30 million plus, thirty
No, I
five
feel
million
you.
dollars a year.
Li- Dre, I feel you. Like I wouldn't if I was New Orleans, I wouldn't trade Herb or what's his name for Mitch.
But
But
I
I've
think we
seen
could get.
crazier things happen, man. I've never thought that
I can
I never thought that I could get Karl-Anthony Towns or
for
a
that
Julius
low.
Randle coming off shoulder surgery and a Dante DiVincenzo who's,
Peak value.
a good player, but not top tier, and this protected first round pick that everybody thought was garbage that we had these two picks and we still have one of those garbage picks, right?
Hey, Eddie
It's
C.
funny they
Hey,
call it
I got
garbage, but
one. I
when
got
other
one for
teams
you
get
too.
it, it's good. It's an asset. It's garbage when we have it, but when Minnesota got it, it's like a valuable asset that may
Yeah.
not even convey.
Well, I tell you what though, the Minnesota, you never thought that they would trade. They would trade 4 first-round picks and Walker Kessler for Rudy Gobert. Bet you never thought that was gonna happen.
I
I mean,
didn't.
exactly. Yeah, like
And
I've
it
seen
didn't happen.
crazier things happen, bro.
Bro.
There's like people kicking themselves like that after those they just can't get into the room, right? But I imagine there's other organizations like, damn, if that's what Cat was worth, we could have put a package to get Cat too.
Eddie C. Let me just say this because I got to bounce. And Freezy, thank you as always for letting me come on. Dre, Eddie C. I'll just say this. Many people did not believe giving Jalen Brunson over $100 million was smart. And nobody's laughing about that
Yep.
anymore.
Even
All I'm
though
going
he
to
was
say
putting
is
up
this.
40 in the playoffs.
Leon Rose knew Jalen Brunson. He knew the player. I have to trust Leon Rose here that he knows Cat. He knows what Cat is capable of. Leon Rose has never led me astray here. I have to believe every year when I come on this channel, I say there's a pathway for the Knicks to make the NBA Finals. And I know in prior years, maybe I wasn't being serious. I actually think there is a pathway this season for the Knicks to make the NBA Finals and win the championship. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, bro.
Good night. To add on to that, what if we are the roadblock to other teams' pathway to the finals? What if we are the juggernaut and the expected, the
What if?
hunted to say?
Man, how many moves does this guy have in him, bro?
I think the major move I think we could probably look out for. It's gonna sound crazy when I say it, but I think the perfect move for us is Mitchell Robinson for Austin Reeves from the Lakers. The combo guard, y'all know the big combo
Yeah,
guard.
yeah. I would love Austin Reeves. I don't know the Lakers. The Lakers think of him as like the franchise, the the next face of
They
the
like
franchise.
him. They like him. The way, if I had to speculate, the way, remember their new coach JJ Redick. You know that guy is super analytically inclined. That man want to go small ball for everything. He already announced his starting lineup for the season, and it's 80 at the 5. Even though 80 has said before he doesn't really like playing the 5.
Right.
So we'll see. I mean,
I think that's a rookie misstep though with him. I don't think
yeah,
he'll be when you do stuff like that.
he's
Like,
just like braggadocious and just
yeah, Anthony Davis
eager and
is going
excited.
to walk into the Hall of Fame, bro. Anthony Davis is a Hall of Famer right now, and to just what I'm saying, say stuff like that because you're in a position of authority. Only when you get to those gray area situations where somebody have to vouch with you, that man ain't gonna vouch for JJ Redick.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
but
Freezy is
what's the wrong part? What did he say? Anthony Davis at the 5? I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, I don't think nothing's wrong with that, but he's already said it's gonna their starting 5 is gonna be D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron,
It's
AD.
the same. It's the same crap with Cat. Man, I went into so many YouTube channels and had to click it off when they're like, "I like Karl-Anthony Towns at the 4." You stupid!
Yeah, it don't make sense.
It does not make any sense. His statistics at the 4 is this and that. Dude, he's a 5.
His numbers aren't better than Randall's at the 4.
He's a 5. He's a 6'11" 5 for our team. The next tallest player is 6'7" on our team. You're gonna be playing. We're gonna go through the same conundrum. We're gonna be playing or Jericho Sims and Cat. I mean, come on, man. Like, where these people?
You
Like, are you
you
not watching basketball for the
the
past
reason
5
why
years?
like Cat got away, the reason why like the Timberwolves got away with Cat at the 4 is because Rudy Gobert, for better or worse, Rudy Gobert is probably one of the best rim protectors in NBA
The
history.
reason why the Cat gets away at playing the 4 is because Cat is a great 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Okay. But Cat can't guard for us, bro.
I mean, as
He
simple
did
as
it.
you made
He
it,
did it.
yes.
If you look at the statistics, there's statistics out there that say that he was an adequate guard, an adequate guard at the 4.
He was a solid enough guard, but he was also surrounded by
But I
multiple
wouldn't
good
put him there.
defenders.
I would not put him there. If you're talking about me, as I have Karl-Anthony Towns on my team, I'm not looking for a freaking center.
I think my thing is he can do that. His most impactful position is at the 5. That's
And the
plainly
beauty
it. His
and
most impactful position is at the 5.
there's beauty in his stretchability at the offensive end because if we play Precious and Precious, I don't know. Maybe Precious wants. I'm looking for a team where Precious would have to guard the 5, and
It'll be one. It'll be one of
they
those
don't
things
play.
where you nominally switch it. Like on offense,
They
Cat
don't.
might be the 4, but on defense, Cat is the 5.
I mean, the last team that was doing this type of stuff is maybe Minnesota and Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Where if you want to play Cat against Mobley, and then you put Precious with Jared Allen.
Okay.
But there's not many teams out there that you're gonna want to do stuff like that.
Well, I think one of the things.
There's only like 2 dominant centers. That's it. It's only 2.
No, but I'm talking about teams where you had that 4-5 twin tower type situation. I think it
Oh
was
yeah,
only Minnesota and Cleveland. That's it.
yeah. You only force that when you have so much money invested in in those positions, in terms of guys that are that big,
You do that with
or
Boston,
you
and
have draft
Boston is
capital
gonna
invested in them.
Oklahoma City Thunder can ready to do it this year, bro.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, they're gonna do it this year with
Yeah,
Hartenstein and
yeah,
Temple.
yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I
gonna
want to
see
see them. I
Hartenstein
want to
with.
see. I want to see that in the last 5 minutes of the game.
It
But
probably
the
won't
thing
work.
is, you only see it when one of the bigs are a very high draft
And
pick,
I
where
get
they
that
have to
one.
invest that. Like when you look at Minnesota, Carl Towns #1 overall. Mobley was a top 3 pick, I believe.
Yep.
Chet was a top 2 pick.
Yep.
No, the
The
reason
only
why I
times you
get
see those
that
twin
one,
tower looks is when one of the guys are an extremely high draft pick, and you have to get all the juice you can squeeze out of them, no matter what. You got
no,
to have them on the court.
no. The difference between Minnesota, Cleveland, and Oklahoma City Thunder is the Minnesota is different. Minnesota had two big centers. Those other guys had centers who are really frail. Well, I wouldn't. Okay, I would want to say frail. They're just in body type. They're skinny. You know what I'm saying?
But in this era, they would be a center. Period. They would be considered a center
Yeah, but they're
on
just
other
too.
teams.
They're just really. That's why Cat is so beautiful because he still has that game, but he's big.
Yeah, he's not little.
You know what I'm saying? Even KP, KP is slim. KP is just way taller than everybody else,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
now he's got this ankle injury. It's for the taking, baby.
I
This is
think
for
one
the taking.
I think one of the things that we're missing is when we talk about small ball and mobility, right? When we talk about small ball affords you certain things with that lineup. And I think the Knicks can run Karl-Anthony Towns in that small lineup at the 5 and give you those same things that you would get from a shorter, more mobile, agile skill center.
Yes.
Right. And so that's just really quick. That's one of the things that I think when we hear these labels that are thrown out about, certain offensive types, certain archetypes and things of that sort, the Knicks can do the same thing with Cat at the 5. Cat is probably a top 5 skilled big man in the NBA right now. Right? You don't have to take him off the floor to get more mobile for a big that can pass and dribble. And Cat probably has the best handles for any 7-footer in the NBA right now. Cat takes opposing centers off the dribble every game, all game long. It's the reason why his 3-pointer is there. Cat's 3-pointer is there because Cat's back off of him, because once Cat get by your center, who's going to stop Cat at the rim? Your stretch 4 that's probably 6'8", 210. That's one of the reasons why he's
So you're saying Jason Tatum that's back there? That's when he does that at KP, Jason Tatum's gonna stop him?
You're right. Once he takes Porzingis off the dribble, once he jabs right and goes left, and Porzingis has to change direction at 7'3", who's gonna stop Cat at the rim? Jason Tatum? Right? And here's the other thing too. Once Cat is at the top of the key to 3-point line, it's not like Brook Lopez is at the 3-point line. It's not like Miles Turner is at the 3-point line. Like, those guys are very good spot up shooters once they get to their spot. But when Cat gets there and you close out reckless,
he's gonna take it to the rack hard.
Yep. Or
we've seen him do it. We've seen him do it.
Or me and Dre favorite move, he can dribble, sidestep, reset, and still take the 3.
He's very offensively. He's very gifted. I mean, this is a freaking dream for me, Freezy. Right. This is I can't picture. That's why I was always telling you guys years before, give him time. Give Leon time.
Yep.
It's here now.
I was gonna say, like, in terms of
it took him 4
how it's
years,
gonna be a basketball fit, and like,
go ahead, my bad. It took him about 4 years, but we here now.
Say it again. I missed what you said.
That it took him about 4 years, but
I think what it took for Leon Rose to push the button is realizing if he has a top 10 player, and once he realized, yo, Brunson is one of the best players on the planet, I need to get as many pieces around him that fit him perfectly to a T right now, which is why they did basically 3 big moves within 9 months of one another.
And Dre, and you know what? And here's the one of the other things I want to say to you and Eddie C. Probably about 30 minutes ago. When a star is born, some stars you can see the stardom, it oozes off of them from the first time you see them. Like, as soon as the draft comes out and you see a guy, you're like, hey, that dude's a star. Like, when the first time you saw Anthony Edwards, you were like, bro, if he ever get in shape, he gonna be a problem, right? Some guy, but then there are other guys like Isaiah Thomas, the 5'9" Isaiah Thomas, where like, hey, that guy's a star right now. I don't know how long this thing is gonna last. So we need to surround guys. We need to put guys around him right now, right? Like when you first saw Derrick Rose, there's no way. When you first saw Derrick Rose at Memphis, Derrick Rose had stardom just oozing, just dripping off of him. Like when you saw John Morant at Murray State, you're like, oh my goodness, if it wasn't for Zion, this dude would be the number 1 pick, right? But then there were guys, there are guys that get really good out of nowhere, and you don't know how long the stardom is going to last. And so you have to get the guys that go around them to catch that lightning in a bottle, because you don't know how long it's going to last. And I think Jalen Brunson is one of those players. And I'm not saying that Jalen Brunson is not going to have a super long and productive career. What I'm saying is guys that generally take the Jalen Brunson road to where he is generally don't stay megastars for 10 seasons. Gilbert Arenas, they generally are stars for about 5 or 6 years. You have to catch that lightning in the bottle, and if you don't, that window will close before you know it, and then you're searching all over again for another time.
And to give you an example, the reason why Cat is on his team is because Anthony Edwards is the polar opposite of that description, and that man will be good for the next 10 years. So you can afford to take a step back in talent or whatever you may think is talent wise, because you were just one game away from the finals.
Right.
You could take a step back in a short term to make a money move, because you got a stud that's been that guy and will continue to be that guy, because he's what, 23 years old.
Right. How long? Hey, Dre,
24 years old.
how long was Draymond Green a star?
Maybe 3 years.
Maybe
Four? Around 4.
But
I give 4.
I think also when you talk about the Anthony Edwards situation, like, okay, you said everything you said was 100% correct, but most of his shots, it's off the dribble, it's from the outside. I think Jalen Brunson is more of a penetrator, post up player, which benefits Cat more, because if Brunson's on the inside, Cat's on the outside, Cat brings out his defender, who's usually a 7-footer, and leaves the space open for Brunson. So those two are going to work so much better than Edwards and what's his name. That's why sometimes you saw even Minnesota play good when Cat's not there. Even though Cat's a great player, it was more of the spacing aspect of it. That's what Minnesota's looking at. I mean, I don't know if Julius Randle is in their future plans. I don't think he's in their future plans. If I was Minnesota at the trade deadline, I would try to pawn him off for whatever I can get him for, because he might be leaving anyway. And you just wait to see how the NBA shakes out. Sometimes people that are on the threshold need us Julius Randle, or sometimes people that are on the threshold lose a player of a Julius Randle's caliber and want to supplement that. But the spacing now with Nas Reed, even if they play Nas Reed with Gobert, is so much more different. You know what I'm saying? And the egos are not there. When it comes to Cat with the Knicks, he opens up the whole floor for us.
Right.
So it's the when we talk about the Anthony Edwards as player A and Jalen Brunson as player B, the style of play is so different that Cat meshes way much better with Jalen Brunson, because he also has on this team in particular what I just said. Brunson being a post guard and Cat being a stretch 5. You also have now Mikal Bridges on one side and OG Anunoby on the other side, and then this demon Josh Hart coming in from the top of the key, grabbing all the damn rebounds.
Right.
Okay,
go ahead, Dre.
I was gonna say, like, the Josh Hart thing. I think Josh Hart has never played in a situation where he's gonna have 4 shooters on the court that much better at shooting. So, like, in terms of his weaknesses, in terms of him maybe not being the most willing shooter, it'll be weighed out when he grabs rebounds or pushes in transition. There'll be always a pressure valve or a pressure outlet in terms of spacing and threes. Like, he's gonna get so many layups and easy assists, like to trail threes to Cat for just playing at an up tempo style. Like it, I think there are going to be some nights when you watch us play where we're just going to obliterate teams from three. Like the game will be over at halftime because we decided to make 17 threes and a half.
Bro, we're gonna be winning games like 130 to like 101.
Yeah, yeah. I would say this. I disagree with a point that Eddie made, not because of I just want to be adversarial with it, because I thought about what he said, and when I added something to it, it became something different.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like you add something to it, and then it all of a sudden becomes something else.
Go ahead, shoot. Go ahead.
So I don't think we should look at the Knicks offense as Jalen Brunson heavy or Cat heavy. I think we should look at this Knicks offense like Voltron, where Jalen Brunson forms the head, right? Because when you look at OG and Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, these are not dudes that need Jalen Brunson to set them up to get 20 points. These are dudes that legit, when they assert themselves, can get 20 points per game on their own, right? One has a skill package that he's growing in confidence using in Mikal Bridges, and the other has a limited skill package that he uses to the ultimate in OG Anunoby, right? Like OG Anunoby has a limited offensive package, but nobody uses limited tools better than OG Anunoby, right? Nobody uses the straightforward dribble, like the straight line dribble, better than OG Anunoby in this league, right? And so with that said, if you think about a defense's task every night to defend the Knicks, do they focus solely on Jalen Brunson and then solely on Karl-Anthony Towns and let Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and all the rest of the players just eat at them like a piranha in a feeding frenzy, right? Or does a defense spread themselves thin and allow them to get killed by 1,000 paper cuts, like Brunson, everybody just taking turns and everybody being efficient across the board? I think that might be the approach. The approach is, instead of letting one player get hot and go for 45, like instead of letting Cat get hot and go for 38, 22, and 7, or letting Jalen Brunson get hot going for 46, knocking down 10 threes, 6 of them in the fourth quarter, I think what they'll tend to do is just focus on the entire thing, just try to shut down the offensive system, right? And get the ball out of the hands of whoever's hot, but play fundamental NBA defense against us and let's work our system. And then we look at the counting stats after the game. Like, oh yeah, Jalen Brunson had 31. Oh, I ain't know. They don't even seem like it. Oh, he knocked down 8 free throws. Okay, that's why. I think that might be the thing that we might be facing this year. That's why when you made the point, I felt like it was an excellent point, right? Because you're talking about the tip of the spear, but you're also talking about the fists that go with it too, right? And I'm thinking that when teams focus on two guys, but you have an offense with, for instance, Mikal Bridges is probably the second best angle cutter in the NBA, and he's the second best angle cutter. You know why? Because OG Anunoby is the best, right? The movement without the basketball stuff. Like when defenders come from a certain place, selling out to blitz Jalen Brunson, somebody, OG Anunoby taking off to the rim, Mikal Bridges is occupying that spot that he just left. Now one defender, say Dre is a defender, does he go to the rim with OG Anunoby and leave Mikal Bridges open for 3? If Dre don't make up his mind in an instant, both of those dudes going to be open. right?
Yeah.
So if you don't commit right away, you're giving up a basket to them, right? So Dre is going to make up his mind right away. In pregame, they're going to be like on the pregame in the pregame coaches talk. They be like, "Hey, we can't give them nothing at the rim," right? So that means they're going to be giving up the three, and that's what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to see form arms and legs, form chest, form and all that, and then my guy's going to form the head, and that's what it's going to be like every night, like legit team wins every night. Where you might see this team legit might have two 24-point per game scorers and two 18-point per game scorers. I mean, it might be insane what you see from this team. And I'm not saying that the Knicks off the rip are going to have the best offense in the NBA. Of course not. What I'm saying is the elements are there. Like the element, whatever you dream of in the NBA, like however you dream up your NBA offense, the Knicks have it. Right? Like if you want to go a ball handler, all wings, and a big that can stretch the floor, the Knicks have that. If you just want to go ISO, like when you want to have somebody just getting a bag, the burner, you have two guys that are elite at that. So whatever it is, where you pick your poison, whatever the poison is you want to die from, pick it. And on any given night, we might be able to give it to anybody, including the NBA champs on opening night.
Yo, 100%. The two things that I would point out there would be, one is I'm going to make a bold statement. I think Josh Hart's going to lead the Knicks in assists because he's going to be the
I
one.
think it's going to be Brunson. I think Brunson's going to have this hit. But I think this is what I think. I think Josh Hart's probably going to have 5 assists.
You might, hey, Eddie, why'd you say that though? Just real
because I know that a lot of the times, if I was a defense, and this is the reason why I led with Josh Hart's going to lead the Knicks in assist. If I'm a defense, I'm gonna just keep on doing what they've been doing for the past 2 years. Is at the point of attack, as soon as we take the ball out, I'm going to pressure Brunson. Right, make him work hard from as soon as he gets the ball to when he dribbles the ball up the floor. The difference this year is, though, the center that's giving the ball to Brunson is going to be able to give Brunson the pick so that he can get his defender off of him. And when they roll up the floor, he's also going to be the guy that's going to be able to shoot it, which we haven't had in forever. So when they do pressure Brunson and Cat passes the ball into Brunson, they pressure Brunson, Cat gives the pick, Brunson has enough space. When they're going up the floor, he can just pop it to Cat, and Cat could shoot the three. We haven't had that in forever. During the flow of the game, since we do have all these spacers out there, once Brunson kicks it to a Josh Hart at the side, right or left, and he penetrates, brings in the defense, we got two guys out there that are going to shoot the three, adding Cat number 3, even Brunson number 4. So he's going to be a slasher slash passer in a lot of these games, and he's also a great finisher. So it just, everything just clicks in my mind. The way I look about the way I think about basketball, I just think that everything clicks. On the defensive side, let's see. I mean, I know that OG and Mikal is going to be able to hold their own, which probably negates the need for a defending at the rim center, because those guys are so good defending at the point of attack. But let's just see how the defense. That's why I didn't say that we're going to be blowing out teams 130-90. We're probably going to give up a couple of points, but we're going to be able to score so heavy that it's going to be crazy.
Eddie C is so confident in the Knicks defense that he said we're going to give up a couple points. I hear you, big fella. I hear you.
I mean, we do have two of the quote unquote best defenders on our team.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Dre said that Jalen Brunson was going to lead us in assists. Jay, you still feel that way after you heard what Eddie C said?
I think he's going to be number 2 in our team in assists. But I also feel like some of it depends on, in my mind, if we try to rely on Macau, if Macau takes another step up, because playmaking becomes easier for guys that have been in a situation with lesser talented guys. So like he's going from a situation from the Nets where they didn't necessarily have this much talent or spacing, and when he comes to the Knicks, there's just going to be so much space, so much pace, so much talent. He can take a step up in his playmaking. I think it's going to be one of those things where we do it by committee. Like I think the idea of like a guy leading the team in assists, I don't even think it's going to be that big of an issue because number one, I think we're going to have 4 guys average 4 assists plus this
Yeah.
year
Yeah, because of the offense we'll run. Yeah. Yeah.
because of so much spacing. Because we have a bunch of high IQ basketball players playing together. Some nights Josh might get 12, 13 assists, and
Yeah.
then some nights it might be Brunson getting that load offensively in terms of being a decision maker based on how teams defend us. And then some nights McCall might pop up with 7, 8, 9 assists. Hell, we might see Cat operating the post getting some of those same looks that Randall got, except I think Randall is a better playmaker than Cat. But I think Cat will be in a position where his windows to pass will be so much more open compared to Randall's, where it'll be easier for him to play make over here.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be a lot. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Freezy.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. What you're saying. I think a lot of times when we have the conversation, sometimes we assume that Julius Randle actually got to play with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, but he didn't. He played with OG 14 games? Was it
Oh,
16 games? He got to play with OG Anunoby,
yeah, barely.
and yeah, and he never got a chance to play with Mikal Bridges. And so the thing with Randall and what he can do, and listen, once Randall is gone, he's going to be gone, right? But the cat thing, I think, man, y'all better,
He raises your ceiling by a
yeah.
lot. He
And,
raised like this difference between him and Randall is, for better or worse, Randall is most impactful with the ball in his hands. As
yeah,
soon as Cat steps past half court, he shifts the defense
yep, yep,
without even having to touch it, without even having to be involved in the play.
right.
He warps what you have to do defensively.
All the things that we complained about over the years, Cat brings that stuff offensively to the table just by getting a Knicks jersey, right? Just the gravitas, just the attraction, right? Is gonna move defenders his way. And for two of the best, and I say Mikal Bridges is a great off-ball cutter. Kawhi Leonard used to be that guy. Now he's more of an ISO scorer. But y'all remember San Antonio Spurs Kawhi Leonard, early like fourth, fifth year Kawhi Leonard? Like all you knew him for was defense, but then you like, what did that do? When did that dude score 21 points? Remember that Kawhi Leonard? Like you never knew
And
when
he
he
would
scored
score 21 points on like 10 shots.
on 10
Yeah, it was
shots.
no 3-pointers. It was
Yeah. Yeah, and there was no, remember, they didn't run plays for Kawhi. There were no clear outs for Kawhi. None of that stuff. He would score within the flow of a game. And you look at the box score, you're like, dang, that man had 21. Right. You look at that man hit 6 free throws.
I think they were using a lot of the triangle offense too. When it was Parker, Duncan, and him, he would be
Yeah,
that cutter.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the weak side cutter, because the
Hmm.
thing is you have to have the reason why guys like Cam Reddish are not 20-point per game scorers is because they don't have the instincts to do that type of stuff. They don't have the instincts to be. Dre, you ever notice like how a guy can score in college with the ball in his hand, but he get on an NBA team with another guy that got drafted the year before that scores with the ball and hit Jalen Green.
Yeah.
Like how you have a Jalen Green and another hot shot rookie together, and you're like, oh, it's his turn, my turn, his turn. But what it is the nuance of stuff is like, as soon as that defender attempts to turn his head, OG Anunoby is at the rim. Remember, that was the first time we saw OG Anunoby score. Remember, the first time we saw him score was on a dunk. He got off the floor so fast. We were like, we weren't even used to
You
it.
can do that? You supposed
Yeah,
to dunk in the half court?
because we had saw RJ Barrett need to get a 300-foot running start to dunk. Right.
And you know what's the sad part about that, Freezy?
But let me say
First year,
this.
RJ Barrett would dunk in the half court. He put on all that damn weight. He couldn't
Right.
do it.
That part, remember when you were talking about Kawhi, though, it was because the center was a great passer in Duncan.
Right.
And we had that with Isaiah, and I think we still have that with Cat. You're not going to get that weak side cut if your center is not a good passer, because the center is going to get the ball at the mid post, high post, right, with his back to the basket, and he's going to be able to decipher when you get that cut. Because when I play basketball, when I play with a center that passes the ball well, man, I get like 10 buckets just on cuts.
Just on cuts, right?
When I play with a guard that wants to dribble and shoot the rock,
dribble.
I don't get shit.
Right. Yep.
I gotta go and rebound and get off a putback. So when that
one of those things, yeah.
No, it's basketball.
Go ahead.
What it is basketball, and Cat is skilled enough that he can shoot that three up the pick and pop. He can go to the basket. He can get the ball at the back of the with his back to the basket and pass the ball to the cutter. It's just so fun. I remember the way I'm speaking right now is the way that I spoke when we got Jalen Brunson.
Right.
When I remember saying Jalen Brunson is going to be an all-star. I told I was on the show that Stephanie show. And I said Jalen Brunson is going to be an all-star.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't make the all-star team that first year. He's only been here for 2.
He's only been here 2 years, bro.
It feels like it's been a millennium.
Josh Hart's only been here a year and a half.
This is fresh.
Yep.
This is fresh.
Yep.
And the way that I'm in when it comes out of my mouth, the way that I'm speaking, it's the same feeling. It's the same feeling of when Jalen Brunson got to New York.
To New York. Yeah.
And it was still clunky.
Yeah.
It ain't clunky. It's not clunky anymore.
It was clunky because we had young guys that didn't know how to play. But
right. We had Quentin Grimes still. We had Emmanuel Quickly still. We had RJ Barrett still. We had Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. None of these guys are. They're not in the starting 5.
Right. Yeah.
Now we have freaking Mikal Bridges, guy.
So you went from RJ Barrett to Mikal Bridges.
I went from
how far we've come, as in how the lane that we've gone to. Yeah, man, like it's incredible.
Eddie, have you ever been on an airplane before?
Of course.
You're right. You know how like you get on the airplane and you flying in coach and it legit look like a school bus in there. The seat belts might be stank. You're like, oh boy. And then on the next flight back, you like, I'm gonna just see. Like, y'all gotta see them business class. And they'll be like, yeah, your business class is wide open. And then you thinking like, oh boy, the ticket was $400. They're gonna charge me $900. And she's like, nah, we can move you to business class for $490. And you're like, $90? I'll do it. And you go to business class, and all of a sudden you see less seats, but you see more staff. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. And then the next time you fly, you're like, hey, how much is first class? And you thinking they're gonna say like $1,800, and they say something like, hey, it's the mid-morning. First class is $800, and you sit in first class, bro, and you up there by yourself, and the lady walk by with the platter, with the water, the hot towel, and maybe like a takeoff beverage, and you think like, why did I ever fly? I flew coach and was missing out on this. This is what this feeling feels like to me, Dre. Like when you fly in first class, it's less seats and more staff. When you fly coach, it's a bunch of seats, bro. It's in there like a field trip. Right? You can't even put your things in the overhead thing. People bumping you, they trying to walk by all that. Bro, when you in first
what do you expect? 100%. But what do you feel? What do you think about the people that are saying that this was not a good trade for us?
Okay, so I'm gonna say to that, out of respect for the people that say it's not a good trade, I think it's a lot of things that we should consider. First of all, you don't know if it's a good trade or not because you hadn't seen the principal actually perform in our uniforms yet. So you can't say that it's a bad trade. You have to wait and see. But the main part of that is I think there is a separation anxiety that goes along with being in a place of being destitute to going to a place of almost reaching the pinnacle, and seeing the mountaintop, right? And thinking that the player that brought you out of the dirt to the pinnacle can get you to the pinnacle, right? And so you want to keep the momentum going you want to dance with the girl you brought, basically, right? To summarize, summarize that, right? I know there's some separation anxiety also because the people that say it's a bad trade also remember the days of Mario Hezonja, Terrence Williams, Noah Vonleh, Enos Kanter.
Okay, take away the casual fan. How about the talking heads in the radio stations and?
Oh no, they don't. You know what their job is, right?
To put doubt in people's minds, and
their job is to make money for their entity.
I was looking at the podcast that Bill Simmons, I think he's a Boston Celtics fan, right?
Oh, no doubt he's a Celtics fan, bro.
He got on my bad side so bad. And he was talking to Austin Reeves.
Austin Rivers.
Rivers, sorry. I do this every episode, huh?
Right.
I talk about different names on different players.
Right.
And he says that he thinks that it was better for Minnesota than it was for New York.
You remember how
I prefaced that by saying I think he's a Celtics fan.
You remember how Austin Rivers left New York, though, right?
How we did him. We got him up out of here. We kicked him out like Jazzy Jeff.
We lowballed him and then traded him.
Austin Rivers said that he thought that the trade was good for the Knicks. Was because he asked him, who do you think would win this trade? He said Austin Rivers said the Knicks. Bill Simmons said Minnesota.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that are, I don't know if they're downplaying it. Obviously, there's people like the capologist. I forget his name.
Let me ask you this: what does that mean to you? Like, how does that impact you? How does that make?
I give two craps.
Okay.
I know that it's good for us.
Okay.
I can.
So it's not about you protecting yourself, insulating yourself against what the outsiders say. You are trying to insulate the fan base against what outsiders say. It's basically what I'm.
It's not what it is that for some reason I don't understand the. And I guess I'm just naive to the point where these people have to talk about different points. Like nobody can always be on the same side when you're talking in TV and radio and stuff. Like there has to be people that take devil's advocate side or take the other side.
Right.
But to me, it's a no-brainer. To me, the Knicks. That's why we're top 3 to win the championship this year. I don't get where they're coming from with it. I understand it. I guess I just posed the question before I even thought about saying, okay, I understand why they're talking about it because they have to do that for TV. But I don't understand what people are talking about when they saying it goes back to the same reason. I don't understand what people are talking about saying, yo, we're gonna put Cat at the 4. Are you stupid?
Right.
If this trade was bad for the Knicks, are you stupid? We just traded a player. Obviously, DiVincenzo fitted. I didn't want to give away DiVincenzo, but this is the NBA. You have to do this. This is money. You have to. The money has to match and all this and that, right? And obviously, Minnesota wanted DiVincenzo.
Right.
You're taking away a player who's not fitting. He's gonna. We were talking about playing him at the 5.
Right. Right.
We
But
were gonna have a starting lineup of starting center who's 6'8", and he was gonna be our tallest player in our starting 5.
well, Eddie C, to your point, I understand where you're coming from. What I'm gonna say to that is this though. Every Knicks fan has their own experiences, right? And they have their own biases and they have their own dislikes, right? Like they have their own prejudices, right? Every Knicks fan is going to have their own cachet of reasons why they love or hate certain moves, right? And what I'll say to those Knicks fans is continue on feeling the way that you feel for as long as you feel you need to feel that way, right? Because ultimately, us as Knicks Nation, we all want one thing, and that's to win a championship. Now, how we get to that championship, we all may have our own inroads and directions, maybe some instructions, feelings, some resentments about how we get to that championship or how we get to the level of success that you guys want. We all are going to feel a different way about it, right? Ultimately, what I'm going to say to Knicks fans is even whether you like this trade or hate it, y'all know I loved Randall and y'all know I love Dante. Those were my two heartstrings. Y'all know that. I used to say that every night. Like you couldn't say nothing bad about Dante DiVincenzo around me, period. Right? But the thing about it is even me as a Knicks fan that get attached to players, even I know that the moves that are being made for a legitimate reason. And that reason is trying to get this team on the court closer, if not better, than the Boston Celtics. And no magic wand. I don't care if your magic wand is blue and orange. It could be blue, silver, and orange, blue, white, black, silver, and orange, whatever colors the Knicks wear, right? It could be that color magic wand. No magic wand is going to change this thing overnight. You have to do it incrementally. It's the reason why there was an OG trade, and then a Macau trade, and then a Cat trade, and then whatever comes in after Karl-Anthony Towns. Whatever other moves that come afterwards that proceed are all done so that the Knicks will be closer to winning a championship than they were when this front office took over this team. We're not going to like every move. It's like surgery, bro. When you go in for surgery, the surgeon got to cut you in order to make you better. Some of us walk around with scars from surgery right now. We got to get cut in order to get better. It's a part of it, right? So what I'm saying is, I'm not telling you as a Knicks fan to love the Karl-Anthony Towns trade. I'm not even telling you to love the OG Anunoby trade. But what I will say, the one thing that we can all probably agree to is that a competent front office is doing what they feel are the necessary moves to turn this team into a contender. And for the first time in a very, very, very long time, we can say that. I've been a fan since the 70s, and I can say I've never seen a more competent and confident front office than the one we have right now. And I'm talking about ever. And I remember when we drafted Bill Cartwright, I remember seeing his name in the Daily News. I was like, who is Bill Cartwright? Oh, he's a center. Oh, we drafted a center. 'Cause I remember all our big men had got old and left, and we drafted Bill Cartwright, number 3. I remember I was a little kid and I saw it in the paper, and I was so excited about Bill Cartwright. Right?
Now let me ask you, Andre, a question, and
Yeah,
I'll split after this. I have no doubt that this is an extremely great trade for us. This is like one of the better days after the man. We've had so many of them because Jalen Brunson, OG, we've been on a roller coaster. Do you guys have any reservations about this trade at all? Just so I
nah,
can be on the same page.
I don't.
So you
I
with
don't
me,
have any.
Dre? We good?
The only short term reservation is maybe not having the deepest team in the league, but I think those that can be rectified because part of the reason we don't have as much depth as we might want is because Mitch is hurt right now. So, but
Yeah, and
and,
even though we
and
still,
then we could utilize Mitch to get something else. So
and I also heard that after this trade goes down, we still might sign Marcus Morris. We still might sign Shemet. We still might sign these players. So,
I think
um,
I think the part of the reason why well, you probably already heard, but for those that don't know, we had to release them in order to make this trade go through because we had to do a sign and trade with 2 other players that was on the roster last year that we had their rights to.
Yeah.
So
right.
we're gonna sign and trade them with a non-guaranteed deal to like the Hornets, and then the Hornets are gonna cut them. Then we're gonna have our roster spots reopened up for Marcus Morris
Yeah,
or the other
that's
person that we cut.
that's like the worst part because I'm actually kind of patient. Like I'm a patient person, but when it comes to the Knicks, this is different for me. Like sports is different for me. Like I just hate waiting for these damn intricacies to get done so that I can see what actually really happened. Because we talked before, these things happen 100%, and we don't know what's going on. And then when the Knicks at the end of the day do what they have to do, it's so beautiful what they did. But exactly. And you, Freezy, do you have any reservations, or you
No,
think that this is a great trade for us?
no, I don't. Man, bro, I promise you,
I'm ecstatic, bro. I'm
yeah, I
ecstatic.
promise you, none of this stuff bothers me. I'll tell you what, and Dre will attest to it. Dre will attest to this, right? Because when stuff bother me, I'm like one of those people. When something bother me, I can't hold it, right?
You
Yes,
gonna
you
tell
know that. You've
somebody?
been around me, bro. When somebody say something stupid to me, bro, I be right. You already, you know me, bro, right? So my thing is the only time I really even feel that way is when I feel like either somebody's taking advantage of us, like Michael Beasley. Remember the Michael Beasley year?
Yeah,
Michael Beasley took advantage of us, where clearly he had one foot out the door. He just wanted to get off to show himself around the league so he can stay in the league.
yeah.
That that year, that year bothered me. And when the Phil Jackson era bothered me because we wanted him so bad to turn us around, and he never wanted us. LA
The
was
game
always in
passed him
his
by
heart.
at that point too.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, see, stuff like that bother me. Phil Jackson's heart was always in LA. It was never in New York. He only took the job. He was when I saw he was when he was on live TV, sleep in a workout with a prospect. I was like, bro, we are going nowhere fast. So when I see Leon Rose
That
and
man
his
heart was in Wyoming somewhere.
yeah,
Montana.
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, Montana.
and so when I see Leon Rose, bro, I used to see them at the games, bro. Listen, nobody, man, I I was at the game in Atlanta with Jay Boogie. I think it was a Saturday. It was an ABC game. Me, Jay Boogie, a bunch of people from down here from the A were all in State Farm Arena. Jay Boogie had seats courtside, and I was probably about 25 rows back, just because Jay Boogie got money and I don't. Right. But but when Jay Boogie was walking out and I saw with my own eyes, Worldwide West called Jay Boogie, he was calling Jay Boogie, right? Jay Boogie was walking the other way. They grabbed Jay Boogie, hey man, such and such calling. He's like, oh, it's West. And Jay Boogie walked over there and talked to Worldwide West, right? That right there,
Have you spoken to Boogie about when since this trade has happened?
No, I ain't talked to him yet. But I would if I finish. Let me finish this, and I'll tell you just real quick. So when I saw the Knicks connect with the people, it's the first time. See, because when Steve Mills and Scott Perry went in charge, and they were at the game, hey, Dre, I probably been to 20 games where I was 10 feet away from Scott Perry, and I call that man name, he wouldn't even acknowledge me. Mm-hmm. When he turned around, I'm like, yo, Scott Perry, bro. Beige brothers stick together. Beige brothers stick together. Just something,
Worldwide West making a worldwide mess.
Bro, I'm telling you, these dudes legit, Leon Rose, Worldwide West, all these dudes, bro, they legit love the Knicks, and they love their job, and they loved Randall, and they loved Dante, and they loved Tibbs. Right, they love all these dudes. They love Quickly, bro. Quickly was handpicked by them. Right, they love these dudes, bro. Listen,
the same way that they love McBride.
Right, they love these dudes, bro. So for me, as somebody, as an innocent bystander, just looking, I can tell they're passionate about winning a championship for the Knicks.
We're gonna
just like if you think you're passionate, bro. If you think you're passionate, I sat behind Allen Houston, bro, and every shot, every call, every basket, bro. If you think you passionate, you remember looking at John Starks in the Indiana series. Remember them dudes took the train down to Philadelphia. Remember that Starks and the former Knicks went to Philly.
Yep.
If you think you passionate, bro, look at them dudes. They love
I'm gonna have to, dude. If we win it, I'm gonna have to make a trip to New York to get to the parade.
Bro, that's what I'm saying.
Either that or get a tattoo. One or the other.
That or a tattoo. I might go to New York and get a tattoo, bro. Both. Yeah, but yeah. So when asked, am I concerned? Nah, bro. These dudes, they live for this, bro. They live for this thing, man. I was and I'm not name dropping or whatever, but I was in, you know how the stairs go back up, you know how you got to walk back up the stairs to get to the bowl to go outside, get to the concourse. I was on the stairs in Charlotte, standing in between two of the greatest shooters of all time, while Jay Boogie was talking. A little boy saw Jay Boogie and started crying because he couldn't believe it was Jay Boogie, right? Little white boy. I was like, a little white boy crying Jay Boogie, right? Like he probably saw Jay Boogie on TV, like MSG or something, and think Jay Boogie is a bigger star than he really is, or whatever. And I was standing there, but Del Curry was. Y'all remember Del Curry?
Yeah.
Del Curry was coming down the steps, and Allen Houston was right there. I was trying to get around him to go, and I was standing there with Del Curry and Allen Houston. We looked over at Jay Boogie signing an autograph for a little boy. The little boy was crying, and his father had tears in his eyes because his son was so excited to see Jay Boogie, bro. Right? And when you saw stuff like that, bro, so when y'all ask me about like the Knicks front office, do they care? Are they passionate? Do they want to win a championship? Bro, this to me, this is the most passionate, ingrained front office that the Knicks have ever had since I've been watching it. And I've been going to Madison Square Garden since when I was going to Madison Square Garden since the Harlem Globetrotters had the best team in New York. Right? I was going to Madison Square that long, bro. Meadowlark Lemon and Curly Neal was the backcourt for the Harlem Globetrotters, bro. That's how long I've been going to Madison Square Garden. And this front office, bro, is so passionate about bringing a championship here. So when they make moves, bro, they not making moves just so clients can get paid, bro. They not doing it for that. They making moves so they can bring a championship here, bro. That's why when I heard the news, as soon as I saw the Knicks are trading for Cat, you didn't have to tell me who was gone. I already knew. Right? As soon as I looked at my phone, it said Karl-Anthony Towns to the Knicks. I already knew my heartstring was gone, bro. I already knew it. But if he's my heartstring, bro, if he my heartstring, imagine how they feel about Julius. Right? Imagine how they feel about dudes that they bringing in here, bro. They want to win it. And
it must be, and it must be. Look, and I'm gonna bounce because I gotta go take out the dog and everything. Man. But it must be hard, because they traded him like a day or 2 days after, well, maybe longer. after he did that Earl Monroe stuff for the school,
Yeah.
man, business is really cutthroat, bro. Business is crazy.
I think they already knew. I think Julius already knew also.
It could be.
Yeah, I
I
think
wouldn't. Yeah, I
yeah,
wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past. Because it kind of like feels seamless where they when it happened, how they're like going about their posts and social media.
right.
So you might be right, but yo,
I
I'm
think
out, guys.
Yeah,
all
Thank you very much, man. I don't know. Maybe I'll be back when Mitch gets traded, but
right.
um, um, thanks for
Hey,
having me. I love talking to you guys. I'll probably be back before that, man. If you're on and I got some time, I'll come on and chop it up with you guys. But thanks, man. Have a good night, everybody.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, thank you for coming through, bro.
Thank
Trey,
you, man.
I'm gonna get out of here too.
peace,
7:45
peace.
will be here before you know it. Knicks morning drive, and then got to be on the phone till like 7:30 tomorrow night. So y'all already know. Happy birthday to Wacko. Shout out to Wacko, man. Happy birthday, man. I hope you had a great day today, and all that stuff, man. Everybody, thank y'all for coming through, rocking with us. We're gonna get out of here. We'll see y'all about 7:45 for the Knicks morning drive. Peace, everybody.